I used to be the one who never dropped the ball, always on, always capable, but I didn't realize I was burning out until my body and my brain forced me to stop. This is the story of what burnout really looks like and how I rebuilt from rock bottom. Full disclaimer here, I'm going to keep this video unedited and raw because I think it's important to get the essence of this story out. And this feels like my first real YouTube long form video. So I have a couple notes to help keep me on track here. Here's what happened. I had life that was great on paper. I had the degree, I had the great job, I was living in Toronto, I had my dream job, I had a great partner at the time, my own apartment. I followed the checklist of life and thought I was crushing it, to be honest. That's what a high achiever looked like for me. That's what I thought we were supposed to do and what you are supposed to be like when you're ambitious. So I was 4 years out of school when I got this dream job. I'd worked in IT before, and I was finally working in human resources. So I was juggling this full-time job, working about 10 to 11 hours a day, commuting. I would go to the gym, hang out with friends, hang out with my partner at the time. And I was on, and I thought I was crushing it, and this is what people would praise me for. I used to get the pat on the back, the high fives. I didn't realize that these were actually red flags. So I would be overworking. I would always say yes. I would sacrifice myself to get more work done and be more productive, thinking I was paying my dues, right? Working my way up in the organization, and that this is just what life was supposed to be like. I was really that go-to person, and I could handle all the pressure. Deadlines, no worries. I got it, no sweat. I barely even needed a lunch break. I thought I was thriving, but I realized that I was running on adrenaline and stress. So what happened is that it started out pretty tame. Like I would just get stomachache sometimes, or I'd get bloated. I started to get a little bit of rashes here and there. And as time went on, it started to get a lot more extreme. So after I would come home from work, I would be in the fetal position on my bed in crippling stomach pain. I would be in the washroom multiple times a day. My skin around my elbows and my knees or even around my mouth broke out with eczema. I became super irritable. I was really rude and snappy. I put on so much weight, about 20, almost 30 pounds in just a few months. I had one pair of work pants that fit properly and one pair of jeans. So I would wear lots of baggy shirts because I felt so ashamed of myself and my body. And my mind wouldn't stop racing. It was just always on. I was always thinking about work, about what was next to do. Was I doing enough? Was I good enough? The rumination of thoughts was incessant. And I ended up realizing there was so much happening in my body that I was so sick all the time because of these digestive issues, and I was in the washroom all the time. So I went to the doctor, did a bunch of tests. I did all the blood work, the ultrasounds, the food panels to test everything. And everything came back as normal. And it was wild to me because nothing about what was happening felt normal. I had followed the rules of life, right? Of what society and family and the world tells you to do. And I was really angry that I was so sick. I didn't understand what was happening. So basically, I just remember sitting at work and just feeling like this can't be it. This can't be it to life. Is this it to life? I was 25 at the time, and this happened about 11 years ago now. And so I just remember thinking, if this is life, I don't want it. I don't want this for myself or for life. And it was really heart-wrenching because my heart was racing and I was crying, and I just couldn't stop this thought of this can't be all there is to life. I can't just live in this way because the doctors had told me that what was happening, even though everything was normal, they said, this is just IBS, this is just normal, and it's not curable. And so I thought, how am I supposed to live with the rest of my life just so close to a toilet forever? I felt like stress was killing me. But I didn't realize it was stress at the time. I was just having all of these symptoms. And I remember talking to a friend about this. She suggested I go and see a naturopath because she was also having some digestive issues, and this naturopath was really helpful. And for those of you who don't know what a naturopath is, they're more like a holistic doctor and in the functional medicine space. So I went to see this naturopath, and she told me this is stress. And I thought, this can't be stress. It's just not possible, because I have everything in life as I was told to have, and everything on paper was fine. So what did I really have to be stressed about? Like, life wasn't bad by any means. And I ignored that for a little while. So fast forward about 2 months, I'm still having this excruciating pain. Nothing has changed. And I realized and I accepted that just by a process of elimination of everything else, it has to be stress. There's nothing else it could be. So it was a very defeating moment for me, because I was working in human resources back in the time, 11 years ago, when one, stress wasn't a thing, or burnout wasn't a thing. It wasn't talked about. And in human resources, I would look at resumes to make sure there weren't a resume gap. But I was about to quit my job to figure out what was going on in my brain and my body and start to look after myself in a different way, because I had exhausted everything else and nothing was making sense. So I quit my job, and it was wild, because from the day that I quit my job, I had no more pain. I didn't realize how much my work was fueling so much of that stress, and was really the crux of it all. But there was still the aftermath of figuring out what happened and why the stress happened and why I was burnt out from work and just the lifestyle in general that I had. So I quit that job. I moved from Toronto to Calgary, across the country of Canada, where my family lives, to take some time to heal and just figure out what was going on, because even in my family, stress wasn't, again, a thing. I was brought up in the way that if you don't feel well, you take some medicine and put a smile on your face and you keep going. I was taught to push through and to not prioritize myself. So this was really a hard piece for me to stomach and to accept, because it was shameful. It was very embarrassing for me to have to quit my job at such a young age and be stressed. Essentially, I was overthinking this a lot. I was thinking about what went wrong, why was I broken, what happened. I was still dealing with a lot of, like I said, the aftermath of there was still some digestive issues, but there was no pain. I was not able to sleep. I'd been in this terrible sleep cycle, and my mind was just on overdrive. It couldn't stop. I couldn't shut it off. And I kept thinking about what was happening, what I wanted to do next, how I was going to heal. I started studying lots about burnout and stress, and how stress can come out of our body in different ways. Because I didn't understand that. I didn't know that stress could have a lot of physical symptoms. And I had listened to a lot of Tim Ferriss's podcasts, actually, where he interviewed many successful people, and everybody that he interviewed talked about having a mindfulness or meditation practice and how that was so helpful for stress management. So I tried to meditate. I used a lot of the apps that are out there. I tried the 10-minute meditations, 15-minute meditations, and nothing was working. I had just I would sit there and just couldn't wait until the time was up. But there was so much research around the benefits of mindfulness and meditation, and I just couldn't seem to reach those benefits. I end up hearing about a 10-day silent meditation course called Vipassana meditation. And so I was either between going to Mexico and kind of shutting off from reality and taking a break while I was still trying to heal, or going to this 10-day meditation course and learning some skills and tools that would help me in the reality of the situation, in the reality of life. So I went to the 10-day silent meditation course, and it was so life-changing for me, going through those steps of learning how to meditate in a space where there is no out. There is no end of the 10 minutes. There is just the end of 10 days, which was pretty intense. And I didn't take myself to be a meditator. I'm a pretty type A person. I like structure and spreadsheets and frameworks for things. And I thought that meditation, although I'd heard all these benefits, I thought that it was pretty woo-woo and fluffy. But this course broke it down in such a scientific and physics-based way that it was mind-blowing to go through and actually experience. And I just remember feeling peace of mind. I remember my mind shutting off and having some actual quiet in my brain and being able to listen to my body. And this is when I really started to heal the burnout, was being able to pay attention to my body and hear what was going on, because our body doesn't speak in verbal words. It speaks in sensations and pain and challenges and issues that come up. But I hadn't been taught how to listen to that. So this course was incredibly helpful. It was also the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, don't get me wrong. It was the most challenging and painful thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding and the most impactful and helpful thing I'd ever done. And I wanted to find a way to share this with other people in a more digestible way, other than saying you should go and sit in silence for 10 days. But I just felt so much better already from understanding myself and my body and being able to spend a bit of time with myself in that way, that I came out thinking, man, other people need to know this information. Other people need to be able to access this in a way that is maybe bite-sized or digestible, because it was truly life-changing. It was truly transformational. And maybe that's a video for another day of a deeper dive into the meditation course. But I came out of there and I ended up finding the Search Inside Yourself program, which is the mindfulness and emotional intelligence course that was developed at Google. And I thought that was super cool because it's rooted in neuroscience. I mean, it was developed for the engineers at Google, so it was really science-based, rooted in neuroscience. There's frameworks and steps to understanding mindfulness and emotional intelligence as well. And it busted so many myths about emotional intelligence. And it made it really tangible and practical. And I loved the course so much that I went on to become a certified teacher of this program, because I realized that this is how I could bring it out to others. This is how I can help other people, because I realized through this journey of burnout that nobody was talking about what high functioning burnout really was and what it really looks like. And I thought, I can't be the only one that's gone through this or would find benefit in mindfulness and emotional intelligence, because I didn't know I needed mindfulness and emotional intelligence. And I thought to myself, I bet there are so many other people who don't know they need it, because I was a gym goer. I was not the type of person who would find meditation or mindfulness courses at yoga studios, because I didn't really go to yoga. I would go to the gym and lift weights or go to spin class. And so I just had this sense that I needed to bring this out to other people at different access points, because this is what high functioning burnout looks like. You're still operating, you're still delivering, you're pushing through the symptoms and the signs and the pain that you're in, at least that I was in. But I still would show up to work in the beginning. I would still show up, I would deliver, because I was peppy and happy and positive on the outside while I was going through all of this. But on the inside, felt like I was dying. My soul was being crushed, and inside my body was shutting down. But that's what high functioning burnout looks like. And nobody sees it. No one saw it in me. Nobody asked if I was okay because nobody could see it. And also now it's just become, it's so normalized. We've normalized it. We celebrate the grind. We reward the push and we ignore the pain. And that's only becoming more and more common now. And we ignore it until your body forces you to listen, until you also fully shut down and realize you cannot do this to yourself anymore. So, if you're watching this and you're wondering if you're just tired or if something deeper is really going on, I want you to know that you're not broken. And burnout is not a personal failure. It's your body asking for help. It's your body asking for something to change. It's your body asking for you to pay attention. And there is a way back. There is a way back from burnout. Learning about mindfulness and emotional intelligence was such a game changer for me in my burnout journey and has been a game changer for me going forward. It's helped me to respect myself more, to put some of those boundaries in place, knowing when I would be maybe overriding those boundaries to be a people pleaser. It helps me to stop overthinking when my mind is ruminating or just replaying a meeting or an email or a conversation that I had. And it's just set me up for such a better life now and has helped me heal in such a deep and impactful way and a very practical way too. There's specific, like I was saying, steps and processes around it and how to put it into use. So again, maybe that'll be a separate video, but for now, this is a story and I wanted to share the reality of what burnout is and what it looks like. If you're watching this and wondering if you're just tired or if something deeper is going on, I want you to know that you're not broken. Burnout is not a personal failure. You're not going crazy. It's just your body asking for help. It's your body asking for something different, for a change. It's your body asking for you to pay attention and to help it in a different way. And there is a way back from burnout. And this is why I feel so just driven and motivated to share mindfulness and emotional intelligence techniques and tools with the world, because nobody should have to go through that kind of burnout. And these are the tools that I wish I knew before. I wish I had these skills, these life skills before I hit burnout, so that maybe I could have prevented rock bottom from happening. It was the worst thing I've been through in my life. And now this is why I feel it's my obligation to pay it forward and share it with others in a simple and accessible format. So if you're struggling with mindfulness, with burnout and stress and any of these pieces, if you resonate with anything I've shared, just know that you're not broken, you're not crazy, and there is a way out.